Hi, I'm Miss Erica from the Alameda String Academy, and we are going to talk about Go Tell Aunt Rhody from Suzuki book number 1. Now, I think what's special about Go Tell Aunt Rhody is actually the contrast between Go Tell Aunt Rhody and the Song of the Wind, which it just came right before it. Song of the Wind is allegretto. It's a bright, chirpy song. Go Tell Aunt Rhody, it's a song about how we need to go tell Aunt Rhody that the old gray goose is dead. It's a very different kind of song here. And in fact, the tempo marking really reflects that. So if you look at the top left of the music, it has an Italian word. It says andantino. And the root word for that is andante, which means to walk or walking. So we're taking a little walk with this song. And so the speed is going to be a lot slower and more gentle of a pace than Song of the Wind. And with that, we can kind of tell a story. So one of the ways that we can show this gentle pace is with a really smooth bow stroke. And that's going to be very different feeling than the staccato bow stroke that we used in Song of the Wind. So we have basically, anytime we practice a bow stroke, it's really great to practice it in a scale. So I'm going to play the A major scale, and I'm going to play two notes, two bows for each note. And I'm going to focus on pushing my bow back and forth with minimal stopping in between. And that's going to get me this kind of basic, what we call détaché stroke. And what you'll notice is that I'm using a lot more bow than, say, the hot dog stroke from the Mississippi Hot Dog or the staccato stroke from Song of the Wind, where we're really just sticking to the middle half of the bow. In Song of the Wind, in Go Tell Aunt Rhody, we can really push and start opening up our arm, and we want to pay attention to how our arm opens up. Our goal is to get our arm to open up and follow the bow as it stays straight or perpendicular to the strings. That means in the opposite direction of the strings, or if it's going the same direction as the bridge here, we want the bow to be going out in front of us, essentially. Okay, so we end up in this shape where I have a straight bow. My bow is going in the same direction as the bridge, opposite direction of the strings. But now look what happened. My arm is actually kind of in front of me. What I don't want to have happen is where I open up my arm and my bow tip comes off of the string or starts pointing away from the string, okay? And that happens when I open up my arm and I don't move my upper arm, okay? So when I open my arm, I actually want my upper arm to go in slightly. My elbow is going to go in until I have the corner of a square here. And then this side of my arm, from my shoulder all the way down, is going to kind of trace the long side of a big triangle. Okay, the hypotenuse for those of you who are into geometry, okay? So if you can see how my elbow actually swings inward a teeny bit, especially once we get past the square, my elbow starts to go in, okay? And that, or in, like towards the front, towards my front, okay? Another way that I like to think about this is the direction of my arm is I'm passing out ice cream. An ice cream scoop for you, and ice cream scoop for me. It's kind of going out in front of my belly. Ice cream scoop for you, one for me. What's your favorite flavor? I can name you all the flavors that I like. And feel free to send them with dry ice, express post, Tillamook mudslide. So passing out the ice cream in front, and we're going all the way out. We're coming all the way back in. And as we come in, we're always watching that we're keeping our fingers bent, okay? And we're letting our wrist rise on the way up. So the up bow part is just as important because we're trying to get to this shape, a small triangle, okay? And in order to get here and to be able to keep our fingers in place on the bow, we need to let our wrist rise a teeny bit and let this part of our arm, the floor from our elevator elbow action, kind of to stay flat as we go up, okay? And so essentially what happens is I'm raising my arm and letting my fingers follow behind, okay? And we're gonna make sure that we check in on that bendy pinky and our bendy thumb throughout every single bow stroke as we go. So that gives you an idea. I'm just gonna play the very beginning of Go Tell It Rhody, and you can get an idea of how these longer bow strokes might sound, okay? Now, there are different rhythms here. We've got quarter notes and eighth notes, tas and titis, okay? And what that means is that we're gonna be changing the bow at different times and in different places, but we still wanna be going for that easy, flowy change, flowy feeling as we change our bow direction. So, if I just play this on open strings, it would sound like this. Okay, and then if I add my fingers, it sounds like this. So in my next video, you'll be able to actually play all the way through the song with me. And remember that as you practice this, to choose one small spot to really practice, to hone in on, to focus on in your practicing, so that you really can see improvement in that as you do your daily practice. And if you start out with a goal and you work on that goal, or you work on a specific technique like the smooth bows, and you pay attention to just that. Don't worry about other mistakes, other oopsies that might happen along the way, because you're doing a great job because you're focusing on one thing. And as that one thing gets better, then you'll have room kind of in your mind, in your attention, to open up your focus to other skills or other goals that you might have in mind. So enjoy your practice.